Good day, everybody. I want to come to you today and talk to you about a couple of things I have received. Last night, I had a dream that someone in my family was talking to me about the law and the ordinances and the decrees and everything written in the Bible that says what you can and can't do. And they were really preaching it out and to me. And I was walking up a hillside at the same time this person was kind of preaching to me. And I turned around and I said, I am not a slave. So I think that kind of goes along with what we were talking about yesterday. Also, in the shower today, I heard go out and spread the truth, repopulate. I want to start with a verse. This is Genesis 1:28. God blessed them and told them, multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. Be masters over fish and birds and all the animals. Okay, so we know that Adam is made from the dirt, the dust of the earth. And I think when God says, go and multiply and fill the earth, this is the first time he says it, and he is telling us to go out and speak to other people about being resurrected. And if you have been born again, but you still rest in your grave under letters and ordinances and do's and don'ts, this is different. This is being raised up out of those and into truth. So no more judgment and condemnation and what you can and can't do and all of that. It's being raised up out of that into clarity. And whereas the word before might not have made kind of sense, almost like seeing through, fog. You can't see very well. But when the fog lifts, you can see very well. You can see, or if you come up out of the clouds, above the clouds is complete clarity. So that's the difference between you can and you can't do it, judgment and condemnation. And then when you're being raised up out, you have a spectacular view of everything. And where you focus your eye is where it becomes clear. And the only way you can be raised up out of your grave is having Christ appear to you. He comes to us individually. It doesn't happen to all of us at the same time. But those of you with the truth, I think maybe that's what he's speaking to me today about, is opening the floodgates of heaven. And the floodgate would be, gates are the door, and the door is mouth that has the power to bring life or death to something. Isn't the power of that is in the tongue. That is also a doorway, because what we speak, what comes out, is what people can see. And hopefully this is providing some clarity to some people. Okay, so then when he says, go out and spread the truth, repopulate. Once you speak the truth to someone, then it's their responsibility, if they accept, to, then Genesis 9:7 is what he's talking about next. He says, multiply and fill the earth. So, actually, I think that's Genesis 9:1. Multiply and fill the earth. And that's what he says. That's what's happened to most of us that have the truth now. That once he appeared in us, then we started digging and we were, we researched what he was saying to us. And if something occurred to you, it appeared in you and it was like a light bulb came on and you were like, oh my word, that makes total sense now. And that is Christ appearing in you. And And when you believe it, you're buying into it. And remember when Christ says, buy gold of me, purchase gold, and that's the truth. We need to purchase what he is selling, not what other people are selling. Man sells condemnation and judgment. God sells truth, love, light, life. And he's the only one that can bring you back to life. And when he appears in you, it's almost like a lightning bolt striking you. You're like electricity. You're like, oh my goodness, he's appeared in me. And this is like amazing. I can't believe this. And you just want to like spread it to everybody and just share with everybody. But when you do, know that there will be some that accept and some that reject. And Christ talked about this when he talked in Matthew 10:14. I can flip over there just a second here. 10:14 here. This is just a second here. Sorry about this. Okay, so Matthew 10:14. If whenever you enter a city or village, that's a city or village are people. Because remember, he said, my kingdom is within, and the kingdom is God's city. Okay? So when you enter someone, it's not like physically, it's like a parable. When you speak to someone, your words are going into their mind. You're entering into them. So he says, whenever you enter a city or village, search for a worthy man and stay in his home until you leave for the next town. He's saying here, speak until you speak to someone else. And when you're invited into someone's home, give it your blessing. And if it turns out to be a worthy home, and how are you worthy? If you accept the truth, if you're buying gold from Christ. So if I'm presenting you with a gift of gold and you say, no thanks, you turn around and you walk away. You're like, I'm waiting for that physical Jesus to manifest himself on the earth and set up his kingdom and, all this, that man has figured out that revelation means and what's going to happen, and they have it all planned out. It's not like that. I believed that too. I'm not faulting you or condemning you because I believed the same thing until he appeared to me and made things all clear, and he raised me from the grave. I was believing that dead doctrine letter too of judgment and condemnation. So when you're invited into someone's home, give it your blessing. You say, here's what I'm presenting you with. I was resurrected. And of course, you don't have to lay it on this strong because I'm speaking frankly to you because you know me. So that's what I'm doing. If it turns out to be a worthy home, let your blessing stand. And if not, take back the blessing. But so you remember when he says, don't throw pearls before swine? That's kind of what he's talking about here. Present it. If someone says, I reject that and I don't want that gold that you're selling and I don't believe it and it's not truth. Well, then he says, if the village doesn't welcome you or listen to you, shake the dust of that place from your feet as you leave. So God doesn't judge us. Man judges himself. And we judge ourselves by accepting or rejecting this new truth. When you shake the dust from your feet, remember when Moses stood on holy ground, God said, remove your shoes because the ground you stand on is holy. Okay, so same thing here. So remove whatever covenant you have and you shake it off. You say, what you have stays with you. Eye for an eye. What you have condemned on me is actually your own condemnation because I'm not going to condemn you. You've done that for yourself by accepting or rejecting what I'm saying. You're giving them a choice, and I suppose that's your only participation in it, is sharing your experience and being a witness, but we know also there's going to be martyrs, and they'll either accept or reject. So, anyways, that's kind of just what he was saying. And, if you're accepted, you go in and you share a meal as friends. In that way, the curse is lifted. Remember the curse with Adam and Eve. He says, from the dust you came, and from the dust you will return. You will stay in your grave. That is the dust. You return to the dust, and you will die, and you will not come up out of that grave. You will stay there. Or you will share a meal as friends. So I'm presenting you with my fruits, which goes back to multiply and repopulate. Because when we're digging for truth and we receive it and we hold it inside of us, I'm thinking like a pomegranate here. It grows and the seeds get bigger and bigger and more of a lush fruit until it's completely all the way ripe, like a fig tree. And then you share. You say, here you go. Have some of this pomegranate. And they take a few of those little seeds off and they try them and they say, no, I don't want this. Or, yes, I do want this. And you say, you can get it. Not from me, but you can produce your own garden fruit. It's inside of you. You just have to believe what Christ is telling you. And share a meal as friends. So I'm going to give you this truth today. This is a meal in itself, and it's up to you whether you want to partake of it or not. And when I was thinking about this morning, I had a vision of a man in his grave. And deep down inside, and he's trying to climb out by himself, and he's kind of scratching and toiling at his grave, and he's just trying to claw. And then a hand comes down to help him out, a white hand. I believe it would be, Christ's hand. He's the only one that can, he has the keys to the kingdom. He can let you in, or he can, he tries to let you in, but you say no. Anyways, this person in the grave slaps the hand away. Slaps it away like, I don't want out of my grave. I want to stay here and rot. And then the hand is always there, but he's always slapping the hand away like he doesn't want to come up out of the grave. So anyway, that has occurred to me. I hope this has been, I don't mean to preach and teach. I don't mean to do that. I mean to encourage you. So if you're kind of thinking whether you want to open that floodgate, open those floodgates of heaven, your mouth, and make it rain for other people with spiritual money, I encourage you to do that and to be brave and speak out the kingdom. And God is setting up his kingdom on earth, but it is not as we perceived it. He is setting up his kingdom inside of us. And in Ephesians 4:6, God is all in all. That means he's in me and he's among me. There's other people. I'm not the only one with the truth. So I'm speaking out. I'm declaring it. I'm blowing my trumpet, which is my voice, for all to hear that the kingdom is inside of me. He's rescued me out of my grave. I bear witness to the fact I've experienced the kingdom. I experience it every day. And I thank Jesus for rescuing me up out of my grave and letting me into the kingdom. For without him, I would still be in my grave. So praise God for that. I hope this has become an encouraging word to you, and many blessings upon you, and thanks for watching.